It's the Infectious Groove Podcast, recorded at the 33 and 3rd Music Appreciation Center in Speakeasy, just outside of Detroit, Michigan. The Infectious Groove Podcast is your source for jammy jams, music news, and the best in-depth music discussion. Now here's your host.
Hello and welcome to episode 29 of the Infectious Groove Podcast. To my co-host, I'd like to say good Sunday morning.
Hello there.
It's early.
It is way early for you. I think this is the most functional I've ever seen you at an early hour.
I know.
So, peek behind the curtain for everybody. Normally, we knock this out on like Wednesday or Thursday night after Michelle's had a couple of cocktails.
When I'm at my best.
Or early Saturday afternoon when Michelle's just starting to have a couple of cocktails. And right now, it is very early on Sunday morning, so we're going to have a quick turnaround on this one. Going to have the episode recorded, going to turn around and edit it, then throw together the artwork and all that stuff and get this out first thing tomorrow morning, as always. And it's 10:26 in the a.m. on Sunday. Where are we at on cocktails, Michelle?
I wish I had a cocktail.
All right. Well, fridge is right there. It's not really, it doesn't have like a break in case of emergency on the fridge, but if you need to, just excuse yourself and grab a...
I have replaced mine with coffee this morning.
Nice.
So,
I would like a nice mimosa.
I wish I had like Bailey's up there or something to give you guys like at least an Irish coffee
I know.
out of it. Or at least...
What kind of host are you?
At least some Carol Ann's. It's like
Is
the
the Aldi
off-brand.
brand?
Yeah, no, it's like the off-brand.
Oh.
Yeah. It's the thing where like snotty people will be like, oh, just Carol Ann's. Put it in your coffee. You got no
It'll
idea.
get you where you're going.
Yeah. So anyways, hey, you're catching us on a big week for us. We had one of those weeks where I'm like, we did it on so many different things. Like we finished our 16-week bonus episode tournament, which was awesome. So I don't want to give it away, but if you haven't listened to the end of that yet, it's available now for you to go back and check everything out. We also, just as of last night, hit over 600 followers on Twitter, which is huge. We absolutely could not even come close to that number without the support of all the other podcasts out there. Like once we started getting the backing of other creators, they just keep coming, which is awesome. Yeah. And then yesterday morning, the first Saturday of every month, they call it like Pod Rev Day, like Pod Review Day, where everybody's supposed to give back and like review other shows. And I have not lifted a finger on that at all in the 8 months that we've done this show. And
8 months.
Yeah, I know. And then yesterday, no, hold on, try that again. 8 months. Hooray.
8 months.
But yesterday I knocked out like 20 reviews, because people have done that for us.
Yeah.
And we, got a lot of love returned. One big thing that happened for us this week was, and I sent this to both of you guys, the Limehouse podcast, which is our friends over in the UK, just randomly had listened to our show and gave us a huge endorsement. So
that's awesome.
I'm actually recording with them this week on Thursday. Because of the time difference, I couldn't really, I told you guys this, if people reach out for guest spots, I'm like, I don't know if I can get all three of us, but
What, do they want to record during the day?
Yeah, Thursday. Well, I'm recording with them Thursday at 4 p.m. our time, because that's as late in the day that they could get it for their time, because they don't want to be recording at 2 a.m. their time or whatever. So, but that should be great, because I've listened to his show. He talks to a ton of indie bands and stuff. Every artist that I've listened to on there, when he plays their cuts or when I go find him, I'm like, this is great, so that's really cool for us. So we have had a really, really big and active couple of weeks, actually. And then this is all leading up to this episode that you are hearing right now is going to be our last episode before August 31st. We have a scheduled 2-week break. Are you about to
Summer vacation?
Are you about to be way more excited about that than the 8 months?
Yay!
Yeah, she's like, oh man, I didn't know we had a break coming.
So it'll technically be the end of season 1, and then
which
when
is
we come back, it'll be season 2.
Typically us, by the way. Most podcasts, it's 10 episodes is a season, or 12 or 24, like TV shows do. Yeah. Right? 29 is going to be where we end season 1. So
we make the rules.
Yeah. Well, she makes the rules.
Damn straight.
The rest of us.
Don't you forget it.
Right. Oh no, I'm into 18 years of not forgetting it. Trust me. So anyways, having said that, one thing I do want to address, and this has been made clear to me on social media, is pretty much every time a podcast says we're going to take a break, they just never come back or they come back like 3 months later. You will absolutely have a new episode on August 31st. We are just taking a 2-week break. During that time, I was thinking about putting together like a clip show. I might not. I don't know. Worst case scenario, I'll just promote some old episodes. Like, we'll still be very active on social media.
We should do that.
Not going to have anybody.
Let's pick our favorites.
Do what? Put to promote?
How many weeks is that? 2? 3? 2?
2.
Well, one of us doesn't get to pick their favorite.
I'm sure there's ones that all of us agree on. I think the Jeff Scott Soto episode's probably up there.
For you. I'm just kidding. It was a lot of fun.
Holy cow. So anyways, that's what's going to be happening over the next couple of weeks. And then we've got some other things we're going to work out, like for improvements to the show and so on and so forth. So I've said this before, and I'll say it again. Like, yes, you can support us if you go to Anchor and hit the support button. But especially during the downtime that's coming, we now more than ever appreciate the free support. The likes, the shares, the comments, all of that stuff will help us out a great deal. So if you're not already following us on all the social media, please make sure that you do. So it's been a slow week for music news, but we got a couple of things, so let's get into it.
Music news.
Hit us up, Kyle. What is going on?
So there is a new documentary that has been in the works for quite some time. Well, I shouldn't say in the works. It's been tied up in a bunch of legal shenanigans for a while. But it's about Cream magazine,
which I'm so excited about.
Yes.
I was telling you guys this off air, but Bumblefoot told me about it. I didn't even know it was being worked on, and I was like, how's a guy from New Jersey going to tell me about a Detroit rock magazine, And I totally forgot. And it's funny, the article that he sent me was from the Metro Times, which is like a local Detroit paper. And I was like, how is the guy from Jersey up on what's happening in my town, way more than I am?
Yeah, and for anyone who doesn't know what Cream magazine was, it was up there of at the caliber of Spin and Rolling Stone and that kind of stuff.
For sure.
Yeah.
Like there were some imitators that came along in like the 80s, like Rip magazine and whatnot, but that focused more on, like, I hate this term, but like the hair metal side of things. But Cream was really everything. I actually have way over there on the wall somewhere, I have where Prince was on the cover of Cream magazine back in, like, before Purple Rain came out, like 81 or 2. And it was like one of the first rock publications to like recognize Prince. Like, y'all are missing out on this if you're not giving this guy a chance.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Sweet.
So anyways, it's been tied up in legal shenanigans for years for a number of reasons. As we've labored the point here on the show, legality and music sure don't go together.
No, they really don't.
Yeah, and everybody in the world's in it. Like every rock band and superstar you can think of was featured in the magazine and whatnot. So it came out yesterday, and I'm really excited about it. And then the other thing I think is kind of non-news, but we'll share it anyways.
Not that any of you are going to care, but the VMAs has changed their venue to what they cite as multiple outdoor venues.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the hell that means.
This is going to be a cluster F.
Yeah. I don't know what that means. I think it might mean that they have it split up and have as many people attend as possible. They have it split up into several different locations.
I did the same thing I always do when I saw this thing, which is, the VMAs are happening?
Yeah.
Like,
the whole thing's going to be a bunch of, okay, back to you, Jim. Like, and then it's going to be a performance here, performance here.
Yeah, and I'm sure there's going to be plenty of very pre-recorded, very rehearsed, spontaneous performances and whatnot. So, and then because of the current society we live in, if the VMAs happen on, I think they always happen on Sunday.
Yeah.
Monday morning, there's going to be a whole bunch of so and so is over party. So and so is canceled.
Yeah.
Like somebody's going to say something somebody doesn't like.
Yeah.
And but yeah, I just don't. Literally every single year, I told you guys this. The VMAs used to be a huge event for me, and then somewhere around like 02, 06, somewhere around there, I started being like, the VMAs are on? Like an hour into it,
Is it because music videos don't matter?
That is not what it is. Kyle, tell us why it is.
For me, it's because MTV doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah.
And they stopped mattering when everything became about reality TV shows.
Yeah.
When all it was like Real World, Road Rules, and then all the weird dating shit that would be on at night. Like, people stopped caring about music and MTV together.
Yeah.
So now people go to YouTube and watch music videos.
So music videos do matter. You just have to go to YouTube.
So there should be the YouTube music video.
Have you ever been to that site, YouTube, Michelle? It's fun. Yeah, it's fun.
You know what? Now that you bring that up, I'm actually shocked that hasn't become a thing. Like, that YouTube hasn't taken over.
I said it here first.
Yeah.
Dibs.
The YouTube hasn't taken over the reins for that.
We're going to be watching the Michelle YouTube Video Awards. like the Michael Jackson Video Vanguard
Yeah.
Award.
Just Michelle, too. I want to be just Michelle. Like
Which,
Cher.
by the way, that is the last time that the VMAs mattered to me, and it might even have been last year or something that happened at the VMAs mattered to me because a whole bunch of idiots in the court of public opinion, they just stopped mentioning that the Michael Jackson Video Vanguard Award is the Michael Jackson Video Vanguard Award. Like, they didn't rename it. They were just like, it's a Video Vanguard Award, like, for years. And last year, Missy Elliott won it. And, like, every time she posted about it, it was like Michael Jackson in all caps and then Video Vanguard Award. Like, she was like, by the way, I won this award that my man, it's named after.
You see, I think I stopped caring about it when they kept trying to like intentionally cause controversy with like fake things that they would do on the show, and then would like come out the next morning and like
total sidebar. What do you think about the Kanye Taylor thing? Like, a lot of people think that was staged.
See, because he's so like random and like goes off the wall about things, and then there was the whole thing about how he was just getting hammered the entire time.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that was like in part of the original plan as they were going to do something like that, and then he just went off the rails.
See,
with
that's
it.
what I think.
Yeah.
And again, the Taylor Swift fans, their alarm goes off whenever I insult her. But I think everything Taylor Swift does is calculated beyond belief.
Yeah.
So my thought is probably as late as that morning, like her people got a hold of his people and were like, let's have a thing, And then Kanye got up and does what Kanye does. And I think she had planned to do her pre-planned surprise face, if you could hear I'm covering my face with her, and then probably she was like, oh no.
Whoops.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I think it was planned.
There was one thing that happened with Eminem one time too, and then then he came out and said like that, like this. I'm not actually mad. Like this whole thing was like a setup, whatever.
But I think there have been organic moments through the years, like Tim Rutherford from Rage Against the Machine just climbing up the set, and like I think the guy from Rage is going to fall to his death right now, like that. And then Michael Stipe years ago, REM was up for like every award at the VMAs, and he wore like 25 T-shirts, like he had a different one for every award that they might win, and they were all like animal rights activism, like this is back in '91. It was like trans rights matter and like things like that, like on his shirts. And they won like 6 or 7 awards, and then they won Video of the Year, and they hadn't won like 10 of them. And so during his speech, he kept going through the other shirts that he had. There's just things like that I think, like Chris Novoselic hitting himself in the face with his bass, that I don't think were planned.
And I like when that kind of stuff becomes like news afterwards. But like when you purposely create a situation to then have people talk about it afterwards, it's dumb.
Right. Yeah. Well, I think we can thank Justin Timberlake and Janet Jackson for that. Because that was beyond planned. Like, and then after that happened, everybody was like, "Oh, well, let's manufacture a thing," I'm certain that's happened prior to that, but that was like the big one. Yeah, that I think everybody did. So, anyways, we'll see what happens with VMAs. I'm sure. My guess is they're pressing ahead for it specifically to get buzz. Like, oh, I disapprove of anybody being together. And so we're going to do outdoor venues and whatever. So we'll see what happens. I personally can't think of anybody I'm excited to see perform or anything like that. So.
I've actually heard nothing about it whatsoever. So I have no idea.
I kid you not. I was sitting on the couch this morning, saw the news story, and literally thought to myself, "Oh, the VMAs are happening!" So I didn't even think about it. So, anyways, that is in a very slow news week. That is the news we could bring you. Trust me, if anything was more newsworthy than the VMAs happening, we would have brought it to you. So, moving right along, our jammies. So I've done 2 things this week. Number one, the thing where I get a song stuck in my head and I have to listen to it like 100 times. Mm-hmm. There is a song by Cher from the 80s where like everybody in the 70s that ever had hits in the 80s tried to follow the trend in the 80s and do like, not hair metal, but like, more rockin' type stuff. Let me put it this way. Donny Osmond had like a rock song in the late 80s. You know what I mean? Cher had a cut called I Found Someone, and it is the jam. Like in anybody else's hands, it would just be an okay song. Yeah. But the way Cher sings it, you're just like, wow, I believe this woman, So I had that song stuck in my head all week, and I played it on streaming as many times as I could. And then Friday night, it was like I couldn't get to the 7-inch bin fast enough to grab that single and play it.
Oh, yeah.
And so I've been listening to that a ton. And then the other thing, and I posted about this on our Instagram the other day, I've been listening to Motley Crue's 1994 self-titled album more so than usual lately. And if anybody's never heard this record, imagine if Motley Crue was talented. That's what this album sounds like. So without going on a huge diatribe, they did a song after the Dr. Feelgood album in, I think came out in 89. They did a song for their greatest hits called Primal Scream. It was like way harder than a normal Motley Crue song with Vince Neil still on the vocals. And pretty much everybody else in the band did interviews and was like, this is where we want to go. Like, we want to have a harder sound. And Vince was like, yeah, but that takes effort, though. And I'm Vince, and I really, don't really want to try. So they had a very public breakup, and they replaced him with this cat named John Corabi. And then the whole 94 album is, like, way harder, way better lyrics. Like, it's easily the best drumming Tommy Lee's ever done, and that's saying a lot. Like, even on the crappy Motley Crue albums, Tommy Lee is the highlight. Like, I would still listen to them to hear him drum those songs. And he is on fire on this record. But any band, I think Van Halen's the only time anybody ever replaced their lead singer and went on to more success. Anybody that ever replaces the vocalist, you're going to come out of the gate having a hard time because people are used to that. The voice is what's identifiable. And John Corabi couldn't sound any more different than Vince Neil than he does. A totally different voice, deeper, rasp, and Vince is very high, very thin. And on top of that, it's just a way harder. Like, if I put any song from it on right now, you would just be like, that's not Motley Crue. It's totally, totally different. But damn it, every song on that record kicks 10 kinds of ass. And every so often I get it stuck in my head and I'm just like, oh, I got to listen to this right now, It's so good. Let me put it this way. Here's probably the biggest compliment I can pay it. If they were a new band and that was their first album in 94, we would be talking about it in the discussion with like 10 and like Appetite for Destruction as far as like some of the greatest debut records of all time. But it was totally behind the eight ball because they had 5 monster records with Vince in the can. This guy sounds totally different. They came out with a brand new sound. The record label did not know what to do with them at all. Like, they were like, well, how do we market this? Because their fan base has been one, so it just was a losing proposition when it came out. And it's just such a solid record. It's so good. And I posted about it on our Instagram page the other day because the vinyl's hard to find. And it was like one of my dream records that I had to buy when it first came out. So anyways, I have it, and I posted a picture of the vinyl on our Instagram page, and it got like a whole bunch of likes. People were like, yes, because it's one of those things where like most Motley Crue fans don't know about it, but the ones who know. So anyways, those were the things that I've been excited about. Michelle, it's early on Sunday morning, but I'll tell you what I'm so excited about today. What are your Jammy Jams?
This week I've been on a deep dive.
I have to tell you that all day yesterday I was excited about being loud this morning when I found out about Jamie
Payback's a bitch, huh?
Yep.
From last week?
Yep. When I was editing last week's, I was like, this asshole. But anyway, so you've been on a deep dive of
Maren Morris.
Oh, okay.
I have been digging into. I think she only has 2 albums out, but I just put her on Spotify and just let all of them shuffle.
I think she was either on our playlist last week or the week before.
I think I've mentioned her like 4 times.
Well, yeah, because but Stacey and I were driving the other day, and it must be on this week's playlist because a song came up and I was like, damn it. Like, and I've said this to you on the show before, like, more people need to know about this girl.
Yeah. So there has not been one song other than like the singles that are on the radio. Yeah. I mean, I love those, but there's not been one song that I didn't like. There's been a couple songs that were not, the greatest, but I've just been, when I'm at work, I just literally put her on and then, and she's great. And then,
and she has 2 records, you think?
I think so.
Okay.
I'd have to double check.
Don't worry about it.
Her latest record came out last year. I know that.
More people would know about her if they realized that it was her that was on that huge hit song that came out, and everybody thought it was somebody else that was singing, but it was actually her the entire time.
Are we playing a guessing game, or are you going to tell us what it is?
I can't remember what it is to save my life, but it was a huge hit song, and everyone thought that it was somebody else that was singing, and it was her. People started to find out it was her, and she kind of...
Listen, I'm not a psychic, but I'm going to tell you about your future. Later today, you're going to get a text from Michelle that goes, what's the name of that song? Because when I'm making the playlist, I'm going to be like, that huge song.
And then I just yesterday, we had a huge house project that we worked on all day, and I just feel like no matter what your age is usually, I mean, other than like small children, but even Beckett, like I put on classic rock radio, like just a station on Spotify. He would say, play something I like, and then his song would come on, and he was We Will Rock You, I think, and he was running around the backyard.
Oh yeah, I forgot to tell you about that, but he actually really loves that song. Like, he used to sing to it all the time.
Oh my gosh, he was running around the backyard, and I caught your dad singing along, and it's classic rock is just something I feel like anybody can like. But there was 2 surprising things that happened. They played Rage Against the Machine Machine and Kings of Leon on this classic rock station, and I was like, do what now?
Yeah.
And for the Rage song, I talked to Kyle, and I said, how is this on classic rock? And he was like, well, it's classic. And it's a rock song.
Right. Ergo.
So classic rock. And I was
Ergo.
like, wait, are we old? And I think we've decided that we're old.
Oh, yeah.
Just to clarify, the song is called "The Middle," and it's by Zed, who's a big EDM guy.
Right,
But this
right.
song
Oh, yeah, I
was
do know that song.
absolutely massive, and everyone thought that it was like some other like female like pop song or pop singer that was on the song, and it was her the entire time.
Isn't he in One Direction?
Who?
Zed?
No, he's just a huge DJ. But yeah, it's called "The Middle," and if we're gonna put it on the playlist, obviously, but when you turn it on, you will know the song because it was everywhere for a while.
That was like last summer's jam.
Yep, and it was her that sung. She wrote it and sung it, and everyone thought that it was just some like Selena Gomez or something. They thought did it.
Yeah. So Maren Morris, and then a lot of classic rock.
A lot of classic rock for like 6 hours yesterday. And
When I make
it was awesome.
playlist notes, I'm going to just be like, insert classic rock here.
It'll be Kings of Leon and Rage Against the Machine.
Right. Kyle, what are your... hold on. You know what? I'm going to do the opposite for her. Kyle, what are your Jamie Jams?
I've had the weirdest musical week I've had in a while.
Really?
Yeah. So I happened to find that Akon released a new album.
Yeah, I did hear about that.
It's not awesome. Surprisingly. I don't even know. It's just...
I'm typing the playlist like as we do this, and then I just backspaced over Akon. So,
I'll have Michelle puts one random song off the album on there, and you guys can decide. They all sound the same off the entire record.
I'll pick my lucky number.
It's just not. It's not awesome. Also, Brandy released new music.
I saw that.
That didn't sound like a ringing endorsement at all.
It's not. I don't like that song either. It's just because we had talked about Tony Braxton releasing more music. I was like, oh sweet, like Brandy's coming back, and it's just.
So these are not your Jamie Jams. Can you get to your Jamie Jams?
These are all things that I listen to though. Like
the segment is called Jamie Jams.
I know, but
it's not. Should I listen to
what I've been listening to?
This is the second time. Not Kyle's Jamie Jams.
I did happen upon a female artist named Queen Herbie. She has a song called Sugar Daddy, and goddamn, is it a jam. And I thought maybe I think it's a bigger jam than what it actually is because I played it for Michelle and she was not impressed.
I didn't hate it.
Yeah, but that accounts for like 50% of recorded music.
Beyond that, other Jamie Jam, Alanis Morissette released a new song called Ablaze.
Mm-hmm.
I did hear that.
Great song.
I liked that.
Do you know what the name of her new album is? And it makes me so happy.
No.
Reasons Why I Drink.
Oh, that's the single.
Yeah, but that's the name of the album.
Yeah. So it's called Ablaze, and it's about her kids, and it's awesome.
It came up in my new release radar on Spotify.
Right on. And that's what you've been listening to?
One more.
Oh, one more.
There's also a gentleman by the name of Coulter Wall. It's pronounced a little bit. His name is pronounced. Last name is pronounced a little bit differently because he's Canadian. So the way it was said, it was like whale or something like that.
Sure.
But it's Coulter and then Wall, and he is. I think he's like 21 years old.
Really?
He's a country singer from Canada, and goddamn, it is.
Is it a new cut or a new album?
He has a couple different albums. He has a new. He has a new album coming out.
Okay.
But I just went through the YouTube rabbit hole and listened to anything and everything that was available on YouTube.
Oh, YouTube, where people listen to new music sometimes.
Yeah.
Right on. We gotta tell you about that site sometime, Michelle.
Pass.
I promise it's real good. Sweet. All right. Well, those are some new songs, and I guess now, while we're on air, is as good a time as any. What's happening with the playlist for the next 2 weeks? Are we just leaving it for the next 2 weeks? He asked to the person who looks confused but is in charge of our playlist.
We could just still put music that we're listening to up on a playlist.
Sure.
Okay, cool. All right, well, moving right along.
It's time for the Infectious Groove Podcast. Main topic of discussion.
So I want to get into this a little bit before we go to a break, and then we'll get into it a lot more seriously after. We're talking about our favorite concerts. So my first question is, and this might sound like a question where like, oh, the answer is obvious, but I feel like the answer would be different for everybody. So we'll start with you, Kyle. What makes a good concert in your opinion? Like when you walk out of a show and you go, oh, that was awesome. Like what is it that turns you over?
Crowd engagement, interaction, and overall performance.
Yeah.
Environment. Yeah.
Yeah. Just the vibe in the room.
Yeah.
Which is but in the vibe in the room comes from so many things. The biggest thing I ask for is for the artist to just care.
Yeah.
Like if you're having a bad night vocally or whatever, that's fine.
That's why I said I was disappointed last time when I had seen Smashing Pumpkins, because Billy Corgan's just like standing up on stage like a lump.
Yeah. The last time I was massively disappointed by a concert was when somebody went maybe go see Snow Patrol.
Seriously, that was
And like
disappointing.
all 14 of them just stood there looking at the floor.
Yup.
Well, that's a solid argument.
I've seen Snow Patrol like 4 or 5 times, and yep, that's it.
Yep,
saw it.
that is it. Michelle, what makes a good concert in your opinion? Apparently staring at the floor.
I mean, the vibe in the room obviously is a big thing, but like performance very much matters. But like like we talked about this, I don't know, a couple shows ago. Like, what do you want him to do? Jump around?
Yeah.
To Snow Patrol. He sings Snow Patrol songs.
Well, I know he's got to be in front of the mic to say the same line 400 times in every song. So
well, can't you just hit the loop button?
Yeah, I wish.
And then you want him to jump around and hype up the crowd?
Yeah.
Hype up and cry.
That's what the dude from Muse does. He has like a vocal. You know how John Mayer uses like a looper? Howie Day uses one. The guy from Muse just has one like right there, and he'll sample himself a lot while he's singing, which is dope as hell.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you don't care if they're jumping around and whatnot.
I don't, but I want them to sound good.
Would it be better if Snow Patrol just had a big screen and they just played Grey's Anatomy clips while they were singing their songs?
Yeah.
I couldn't believe they didn't.
But like,
also, actually, they'll say, you know how like now Poison and Tom Kiefer and like John Corabi, when he comes, they're all playing like 400 and 500 seaters, And I keep telling you this, your bands are going to get there. Like where we go see your bands now, like trust me, one day you're going to be like, did you know Snow Patrol's at the Token? And it's going to be like a guy from Snow Patrol and like a bunch of other people. And
it'll be wonderful.
And when you go there before those songs play, like I promise you, the clips from Grays are going to come up and they're going to be like, remember? Do you remember?
It'll be like how you tell me a band's coming to town, and I'll be like, who? And you're like, you know that one song, and I'm like, okay, let's go hear that one song and then leave. Bye.
Yep.
But
like the time we saw Bach in a bowling alley.
Yeah, or we saw the Outfield at a fair, an outdoor fair.
At a fair. Yep.
But so like, if you're playing rock music, obviously I want you to like jump around, but like, I don't know. I like a lot of emo bands where like that's fine. Also, that would not be fine for Smashing Pumpkins, in my opinion. Like,
I feel like you, and I don't mean this in a bad way, you need people to be more album perfect than I do.
I don't need them to be album perfect if they're doing something if they're doing like a new rendition of a song and they're doing something different or acoustic, then that's fine. But if you're trying to be album perfect and then you're just not, that's also not okay.
Right? Yeah.
I will say I didn't appreciate concerts until like later in life, because I used to hate being around a lot of people at one time.
You still do.
And then I was like, oh, this sounds like shit. It doesn't sound like what I'm used to listening to, which is the whole that's the whole point. Like they do different things and play different songs.
And I've seen bands do it well both ways. Like I've seen bands do and I totally get a band doing a song a certain way for so long and just being like, okay, we got to change this up so we're not bored. And then I've seen bands do album perfect, and you're just like, well, I don't. Like I have this album, like I don't need to hear it exactly the same. So have you, and we try and keep it very positive on the show, but I want to address this. Have either of you ever had an artist you really wanted to see live that just did not live up to what you want? Because there's 3 that come to mind for me, and they're all fairly recent, actually. But I've had, I feel, very, very good experiences at concerts, but I have at least 3 that I'm like, oh, this is not what I wanted it to be.
I mean, I feel like we talked about that a little bit with our worst concerts, right?
Yeah. Yeah, but we didn't get into exactly just like where you went in and we're like, oh, I want this to be great, and it wasn't.
Mine was specifically Billy Corgan.
Yeah,
not Smashing Pumpkins, but Billy Corgan himself. Like
because the rest of the band doesn't really matter now that it's not really the Pumpkins.
Yeah,
anyways.
but so I just expected, because it's the Smashing fucking Pumpkins, man. Like, and that's Billy Corgan. He's like a legend. Like,
yeah. And I think I mentioned this to you before, but that's not a new thing. Like, it's not like he just stopped caring.
Yeah.
Because if you went, like I saw Jovi from like 92 to like 02, and they were on fire all the time. And then literally just one day, John turned a switch and was like, I don't care anymore, and does not put on a good show.
I guess I didn't realize that had happened with him.
And the Pumpkins,
he just didn't care.
Corgan's just not a natural showman.
Yeah.
I saw him in 91 open for GNR, and I was just like, this can't be the opening band, right? Like, the songs were great, but they were just standing there.
Yeah.
And then the next time I saw him was in whatever the show you were at, 16, 17, something like that.
Based upon the music, I was expecting him to like light the place on fire, and it was just like watching him sing and stand in front of a mic, and I was like,
I get the impression that Corgan's one of those guys that's impressed with himself enough to where he's like,
you don't say.
Okay, and I'm going to get into this later, but I saw Prince 4 times, and Prince has every right to be like, bathe in me. Like, when the curtain comes up, to be like, did you all see that I'm Prince? And he very much did that the last time I saw him. Like almost the whole first song, he was like, but are you seeing that I'm Prince? And but I think Corgan has that impression of himself that you're supposed to just be like, oh, it's Billy Corgan.
It really doesn't help whenever so often like a music blog or whatever will come across and be like, well, so this is what Billy Corgan thinks. Yeah. And like no one cares, but that makes him think that everyone cares.
Yeah.
And
when I gave up on what Billy Corgan thinks is in like, and you'll remember this, like at least 10 years ago, he started telling every music magazine what he thought of professional wrestling.
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, it would be like the Rolling Stone interview with Billy Corgan, and like half of it would him be like, okay, so here's what I didn't like about this week's episode of Raw. And you're like, what? Like, why do I care what Billy Corgan thinks about professional wrestling?
He started doing a lot of different solo stuff now, too, that like, I don't even know, it was like try to like distance himself away from the Pumpkins and be his own like entity or whatever now, but yeah, I don't know.
Trying to find out if the money splits better one way.
Yeah.
The only musician whose opinion I care about on professional wrestling is Chris Jericho.
Yes,
because he was a professional wrestler still is. He's in AEW now.
He's still on there. Yeah.
Michelle, who have you seen that you came out going, that's not what I wanted?
The main one that comes to mind is the Beach Boys.
Oh, I forgot about that. That show was so disappointing on so many levels. I will say that show has one of my most disappointing moments, and it was during a song from Pet Sounds. When the line, Brian Wilson says, "This is the worst trip I've ever been on." Yeah. This dude in front of God and everybody said, "This is the worst tour I've ever been on." Instead of, yeah.
Oh, my God.
And I was like, did you guys catch what he just said? Because, like, the whole place around us is all, like, 50, 60, 70-year-olds, like, and they're all singing real loud, right? So, like, the whole crowd was like, this is the worst trip I've ever... And clear as day, Brian Wilson was like, tour I've ever... And I was like... That dude does not want to be here. Like, but we did get to see the real Beach Boys together. Like, it wasn't the county fair version with like a guy who looks like John Stamos playing bongos.
I really wanted him to come out and play the bongos.
Was it super disappointing because they didn't do Kokomo that night? Yeah.
But like I remember having the cassette as a kid, and I even went to the show and I bought a shirt before they even played. Like I literally have bought maybe 5 concert shirts my entire life, and I was
nostalgia, man.
I was like, I need a Beach Boys shirt, and it's going to be great. And then it was not great.
I have 3 that come to mind, 2 of which I'm absolutely dying to give another chance because I feel like I got bum shows. The third, and we've discussed this on the show before, Elle King. Oh my Lord, she was
my second one.
I went in there and wanted so bad for that show to be good.
That record is so good, and then I was just like, no.
Inside of like 2 songs, me, you, and Julius were like, no. It was, and I think I've referenced this on the show before, but going into that, we all tagged each other on Facebook and we're like, first concert of the year, this is going to kick ass. And then literally, if you look at the timestamp, the Facebook post is made at like, at 9 p.m. And then at like 9:15, Julius standing next to us is the first comment on the post. And he's like, well, there's always the rest of the year. And the other 2, and I really, really want to give these artists another chance because I feel like I must have just got a bum show, is Mayor Hawthorne and Leon Bridges. Leon Bridges, that show, we left that show early. That show was terrible.
Wait, you said Leon Bridges?
Yeah.
Yeah, we actually sat in the vestibule of the Fox and just drank beer. And we're like, well, we're here. We might as well just drink the beer at $12 a piece.
That show was terrible. And Mayor Hawthorne was the same way. You went to that, didn't you?
Yeah, that was at that weird venue.
The Garden Theater.
Yeah, not the Garden Bowl, the Garden Theater. And we'd never been there before, and it was weird.
The show was terrible.
Yeah.
And
there was,
I love Mayor Hawthorne.
Yeah, that's disappointing.
I
wasn't even there, and that's disappointing.
Well, you've heard. I would assume you heard the music through us. You probably heard Mayor Hawthorne through.
Yeah.
Every bit as good as that music is, that's how bad the show was. Like the exact opposite.
He does Sonic Lunch every year, doesn't he?
Yep. He was one of the first, he like helped, I don't know if he helped start it, but he was one of the first guests that they had booked on that.
Yeah, it was, I'm still bummed about that show. And
but you're over it now to give him another chance? Because I feel like Leon Bridges and Mayor Hawthorne, you were like, not up in here.
Well, Leon Bridges, everyone I know that's seen him is like, you got a bad show. And then I only, truly outside of us, I only know one other person on earth who's a huge Mayor Hawthorne fan. It's a dude I know that lives in New York, and he's like, you absolutely got a bad show. Everybody else I talk to, I'm like, you ever seen Mayor Hawthorne? They're like, what's a Mayor Hawthorne? I'm like, never mind.
Moving on.
Yeah. And you said Elle King was your second one. Did you have another one?
No, that was the only 2 that came to mind.
That really, you were just like, no.
Yeah, Beach Boys is probably the biggest letdown, though, just because I've been a fan since I was a child. So.
Yeah. Well, I'd never seen them before. The only reason I went to that is because Brian Wilson was there. And then Brian Wilson made his thoughts on the tour abundantly clear, and I was like, oh, well, never mind. All right, I'm going to take us to break. When we get back, I've got a couple other things. We're going to get into some of our favorites. I tried to rank my top favorite 5 concerts of all time and ended up with 7. So
7 is a good percentage out of how many you've been to. So whittling it down that far is
so
impressive.
I will tell you this. I used to keep all my ticket stubs back in, because the first show I went to was in 87, and somewhere around...
I was one.
Somewhere around 98 or 99, I lost all my ticket stubs, but at that point I had just under 700, and that was in 99. And
you would have needed a storage locker by now.
Yeah. Hey guys, you want to go to my ticket stub room?
Sure.
So, and that was around 20 years ago or whatever. So I've seen a few shows. So, and actually, I had a top 6, and then somebody Friday night reminded me of one that I absolutely had to include. So, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll get back into that and some other things too. Like, I want to talk to you guys about who you haven't seen, and if you could get in the time machine and go back, who would you see?
The Wayback Machine?
Yeah, that type of stuff. So, we'll be back in a minute.
Hey guys, I'm Adam.
And I'm Josh.
And we are Cinematic Blind Spots, the podcast where 2 movie lovers will introduce each other to a new film every week.
No matter the year or the genre, nothing is off limits.
Available wherever you get your podcasts.
And don't forget to follow us on all the socials. And remember,
whether you are in your car or in the theater, always check your blind spots.
Hey folks, Rob here from Fat, Drunk, and Stupid. And what is that, you ask? Well, aside from 3 words that describe my life, it's a podcast. We talk about food, fun, fellowship, movies, books, video games, pop culture, and much more. Also, some very interesting guests and some awesome stories, and of course, some cold beers along the way too. So look us up on Twitter at FDS Podcast 7 and look for Fat, Drunk, and Stupid wherever you find your favorite podcast. Thanks for listening.
We're back. We're going to talk more about our favorite concerts. And I told you guys you didn't have to come up with a top 5 or anything like that, but I don't want you to go right to your favorite show. I'd like there to be some suspense on this. Just what are some of your favorite shows that you can think of that you've gone to? Like, we'll say the opposite of the Beach Boys show, like, Kyle, what's one that comes to mind for you? And as long as it's not your all-time favorite show, hit me.
So I've seen Social Distortion one time.
Oh, I bet they were great.
Yeah, it was awesome.
I'm not even a Social D fan, and I bet I would have fun at that show.
When it was there's some place in Ohio, I don't know if it's in Toledo, where they converted an old bowling alley into like a music venue.
I know the name of that place, and I can't think of it.
Yeah, and it was there.
Isn't that what the House of Blues is?
What?
It wasn't the House of Blues an old bowling alley in Toledo?
There's no House of Blues in Toledo.
It's Cleveland.
That's
what I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
Ohio.
Somewhere in Ohio.
Thanks for your contribution to the show, Michelle. So you saw Social D, and I know what place you're... Because, Sebastian Bach, Tom Kiefer, like, all those guys play that place.
Yep.
Wait, did we see the Lone Bellow there?
We've never seen the Lone Bellow in Toledo.
Are you sure?
I'm 100% positive we've never seen the Lone Bellow. We've only seen them in Ohio once ever, and it was at that place in Cleveland where, in a sidebar story, I had tickets in Detroit to see Paul McCartney that night, and then we came into tickets to see the Lone Bellow in Cleveland, so I sold my Paul McCartney tickets to go to the Lone Bellow, and, like, everyone I know was like, you're an idiot. Like, how dare you sell tickets to a Beatle to see it? Well, sorry, I like the Lone Bellow more than I like Paul McCartney solo.
Yeah.
So, and then we got to the show. We're hanging out with the Lone Bellow. I told them that, and all 3 of them were like, you're an idiot.
That's awesome.
And I was like, well, the show was great anyways. I'm going to go now. Literally, they were like, tonight? You had tickets to see Paul McCartney? And I was like, yeah, but I wanted to see you guys instead. And they were like, why? Which was
awesome.
Funny. So anyways, Social D down
it was
there.
all general admission, so I ended up being able to work my way up to the front row.
Right on.
By pushing people out of the way.
I was going to say, I feel like you wouldn't be afraid to throw an elbow.
Yeah.
He doesn't like people, but he wants to be in the front row.
Yeah, of the
he shows
show.
his love with elbows.
Yeah.
You should know.
It was just an overall awesome experience. And there was at one point, someone kept throwing beer up on stage, and Mike Ness stopped the show and was like, "If you throw one more thing up here, I'm going to hop down and beat your ass."
Yep. Axl
awesome.
Rose gets a well-deserved reputation for being an asshole and stopping shows and stuff. But what you never read about in those fantastic headline of GNR frontman stop show or whatever, when you dig into it, 9 times out of 10 it's because people are throwing piss bottles, or like there's a famous clip on YouTube where Axl holds up like a chunk of cement and is like, "What are you doing? Like, who threw this?" Because he's like, "We're running all over the stage."
Yeah, no
so you can
shit.
kill someone with this, you know. And my favorite part of the clip though is he's like, "If you see someone throwing this, beat the shit out of them." It's awesome. It's from like 92 or whatever. You're never going to believe this, but nobody threw anything for the rest of that show.
That's weird.
Yeah, because for fear of getting the shit beat out of them. So Social D is one of yours. Michelle, what would you put in the... I'll let you finish that yawn. It's early. It's so early for her. She's going to go home and have nappy time after this. What's one of yours that you can think of?
So I couldn't make a 5. I don't have top 5. I have 4.
All right.
And that's just because I couldn't... There's so many other good ones that I couldn't narrow it down to one more, so I just left it at 4. So one of mine is in 2000, and I think I figured out it was like 2003. I saw Dashboard and Brand New on the same tour.
3, you said? 3?
I think so they did it in 3, and then they did it in 8, and I think in 2008 they played at EMU, and I did see that show, and that show was not good.
At the Convocation Center? I saw the Black Crowes there once, and they were great.
Well, this is a sidebar, but they had a line around the entire building to get in.
It was that way for the Crowes, too.
And by the time I got in, Brand New was already on the stage, and we had main floor tickets, and you had to go and get your wristband, and then you had to go somewhere else, and then you'd go somewhere else. And by the time I got to the main floor, half the show was over. And I was like, this is... And I did write them a letter, and I was like, I paid you money for a whole show.
Yeah.
You didn't let people in time. Like, I didn't... It wasn't my fault. Yeah, it wasn't...
I thought you were like, "Dear Brand New."
No, it wasn't my fault. Like, I was there on time. Like, why did I... So, and then they were just like, sorry.
Yeah, you get it, Karen.
No, but I saw the Crowes on the By Your Side tour there, and the By Your Side is the 5th Black Crowes record. So when we got there, we go strolling up to the line, and it's wrapped around the venue. And my first thought was, who still likes the Black Crowes? Like, you know what I mean? Like, how are this many people?
No, it's the venue.
Here? And then I found out, we got in, and it was like half full. And I was like, how did you screw this up? And it's the one and only show I've ever seen at the Convocation Center.
Me too, because I won't... Not that I've seen anything else advertised
no one else has ever come there that I wanted to go to.
but I would never go back.
Promoters are probably like, don't play there.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah,
You're gonna play, a lot of people now play the Music Factory, which is just south in Battle Creek, and so I think that took a lot of the business from the one place.
Yeah, but that show I remember it was like, so I went to shows all during high school, but this was like I think my senior year, beginning of my senior year, and I think I remember it being like one of the first shows I went to like on my own, like drove there down to Detroit, and like it was authorized by my parents to go down there because I was 17, and just being on the main floor, and it was like those were my 2 favorite bands at that time.
That just made me think. I think the first show I ever went to downtown, because I went to the Palace a lot between like 87 and 91, was I saw The Offspring, I want to say in 92 at Cobo. I might have seen Ted Nugent at Cobo before that, but anyways, it was the first time where I was like, I'm downtown Detroit.
I'm parking my car somewhere and like hoping that it's there when I get back.
For sure.
Because at that time it wasn't.
Not the place it is now.
No, but it was definitely not the worst. But I can just remember it being just, the show was electric, and I just can remember the entire, like, just being on the main floor.
Do you think some of it was the excitement of this is my first time out by myself, or was it a good show?
It was a good show. You didn't obviously see that show, and this was also back before The Devil and God.
Right.
So it was pretty much the second...
Did you just do a low-key I'm Cooler Than You? I saw them on the Deja
No,
and Tendu
you
tour.
saw that one tour that we saw. They played the Fillmore,
yeah.
And you were like, they were on fire. They were on fire that night too, but this was like, so it was like old school stuff,
right.
And it was, and I feel like, and I've seen Dashboard.
I just felt like that was like the low-key drop, like
I was
I
going
like their
to...
old stuff.
It was going to the fact where you were like, but that one time that we saw them at the Fillmore, they were on
she
fire.
got all hipster on you there.
But I've seen Dashboard several times since then, and I feel like they were on, both of those bands were on fire that tour.
Inside of the last 5 minutes, she's been a Karen and a hipster.
That's who I am.
I'm going to hashtag this episode with Karen. So I'm going to, working backwards, I'm going to do my I'm going to knock out my 2 honorable mentions and then get into my top 5 to kick me off. One, this was so hard for me to rank this as an honorable mention, but I've been a fan of the Culture Club since I first heard them in 1982. and they put out Kissing to Be Clever, Color by Numbers, and Waking Up with the House on Fire. And when Waking Up with the House on Fire came out, I was just getting old enough to start going to concerts. And then they just completely broke up in the middle of the tour and did not play a show again until 1999. Yeah. So I never, during my whole heyday of seeing shows, I never got to see the Culture Club. And then they got back together. They recorded a new record, scheduled a tour in 99, and I was 10 kinds of excited. The record came out only in Europe, and it was fantastic. And then before the tour happened, they all got in a fight again, and the tour got canceled. So anyways, July 16th, 2016, I finally got to see the Culture Club live. And this was like me waiting since 1982 to see this band. And the show was every single bit as good as I wanted it to be.
That's amazing.
It was, I could go on about this, but they had recorded a new record already at that time that didn't come out for several years. It actually just came out last year. But there's 2 songs on it that are some of my all-time favorite Culture Club songs, and one is called More Than Silence. And because the album wasn't out yet, they weren't playing any of this material live. The only date on the entire tour that they played that song, More Than Silence, they opened the encore with it that night. And it was literally... Sweet. You ever seen the movie Silver Linings Playbook?
Unfortunately.
Okay, so, well, first of all, you're wrong. The movie's awesome.
Yeah, how is that an unfortunately?
So at the end of the movie, when they win the dance, and it's like, why are they so excited about a 5? Right?
Yeah.
Okay, so they had already done like Church of the Poison Mind and Miss Me Blind and I'll Time for You and all this stuff, and the place is going nuts, right? So they start this song that like no one knows but me and Stacy, and both of us shit our pants. Like we were just screaming and yelling. Everybody around us was like, why are they so excited about a 5? Like no one knew like why we were so excited about this song, but it meant the world to me.
Yeah, that's
and
awesome.
The show was amazing, and then they still did Karma Chameleon and Do You Really Want to Hurt Me afterwards, but it was amazing. My other honorable mention, and I've seen this cat several times, but one show in particular stands out. And again, it was really hard to put this on my honorable mentions and not in the top 5. And I don't have the exact date for this, but sometime in 2012, I saw Garth Brooks in Las Vegas. And like if you're like, oh well, yeah, Garth puts on a great show. He's always jumping around and going nuts. This was the opposite of that. This was in a tiny venue. It was a 1,500 seater in Las Vegas, and the whole show was Garth and a guitar, and that's it.
Oh, that's awesome.
Not one other musician on stage, no backing tracks, no. And then here's a clip of when I did this, and then goes off the stage for 15 minutes. Like it was 2.5 hours of Garth and a guitar, and that was it. And he literally came running out on stage, work boots, jeans, button-down flannel shirt, hat on backwards, just him and a guitar, and opened up with Much Too Young to Feel This Damn Old, and then literally walked us through the history of why he's Garth. He just did a ton of covers and told the stories behind it. Like I grew up in Oklahoma, and my brother went off to U of M and then came back with a Bob Seger record. And so I heard this song, and then he played like Night Moves, and he's doing these covers.
Oh, yeah, that's so awesome.
He did like Midnight Train to Georgia. The list goes on. It was insane. And then every so often he would sprinkle in one of his hits. He would be like, because I grew up on this, then you got this song. And like after Night Moves, which when you listen to the songs back to back, you're like, oh, I get it. Right after Night Moves, he was like, because of that, you got this, and then 3:30 in the morning, and he goes into the Thunder Rolls. You were asleep by then, but he has a massive hit called The Thunder Rolls you've never heard, but like that's how the show was. And then the coolest thing was about, I don't know, an hour and a half into it, he was like, so I appreciate you guys indulging me and listening to my life story and whatnot. And he's like, but if you came here and you were like, that's nice, but I want to hear Garth, he's like, you're in luck because the rest of this is all Garth. But then he did a whole Q&A session with the audience, literally just took his headset off and just was talking to people one-on-one. And if anybody asked about a song, he would play at least like a verse and a half of it or whatever he could remember of the lyrics and the guitar. He played songs that he's never played before. Like people were like, I always heard you did this, but it's never come out. And he was like, as long as everybody puts their phones away, I'll play some of it for you, because it's stuff that wasn't released.
Is that the same string of shows where he paid his band for being there even though they weren't, because they couldn't be because he chose not to have them there?
Yes.
Yeah.
Which a lot of people complain the tickets were $125 a piece, which by the way is hilarious that people complain about that now. Yeah. But back then it was people were like, really $150 or $125 a ticket, but it was because he was paying everybody that wasn't there.
It's also in Las Vegas.
Plus, you're seeing Garth Brooks in a 1,500 seater. It's $125 is worth it. Getting into my top 5, the Black Crowes, August 20th, 2010, at the Fillmore in Detroit. Show was bananas, just bananas. They played. They basically opened for themselves. They played an hour and a half acoustic, and then took a break and came back and played an hour and a half electric. And I was telling you this off air, but the Black Crowes set list is 100% different every night. Mm-hmm. They opened with a song that like almost nobody knows that night called Cold Boy Smile, and it was just perfect. Like I was like, well, I wonder what they're going to open with acoustic, and they just walked out and opened with a song that was perfect. They did during the electric part. They did a version of "Thorn in My Pride," which was 23 minutes long. It's originally a 5-minute song. This was 23 minutes long, and their drummer took like a 10-minute drum solo in the middle of a ballad. It was crazy. And then I'm going to hand the show off in a second, so this will be easy for me to get through. But Rob was there with me, a friend of ours who's since passed. And
side note, I found a Rip It can under the deck, and I'm pretty sure.
Oh, that's absolutely.
It's not any of ours.
That's absolutely Rob. And Rob was a very talented drummer, and he went into that show blind and just inside of a song became a Steve Gorman fan. Was just like, well, this drummer's amazing. I was like, I know, So it was absolutely a fantastic night. So I'm getting into my top 5 now. What's another one of your favorites, Kyle?
So I saw City and Color at the Fox. It was what I was expecting it to be because it's just him and a guitar playing. But like, I really like.
Does he do tours with like a backing band?
I believe he had a backing band there as well. But
because a lot of it was just because a lot of his material could facilitate that.
Yeah, I'm like 99% sure that there was a backing band there, but a lot of it was just him and a guitar, and it was fantastic. And the environment and I had like balcony seats.
Oh yeah,
so I could I was like
I've sat in the balcony before.
Right
I don't have it on my list, but I saw Sturgill Simpson there in the balcony, and he like if the place would have caved from him ripping the roof off the place, we would have died. But holy cow, And the energy wasn't like crazy, like like when we saw Garth or whatever. But like because of the kind of music he does, it's like more sad, emo-ish kind of stuff. Hold on, but he was still able to put on a good show because what I've heard from over here is that if you're singing sad songs, there's no way to be a showman.
No, that's not what I said. I can't even fight with you
I feel
anymore.
like if I was going to make a clip show, I could make at least 50 of you being like, "That's not what I said."
Yeah, and he interacted with the crowd and whatnot. And I actually, the one thing I regret about that show is that he was doing these screen printed posters for each individual stop, so they were like Detroit specific.
Everybody's doing that
and it was
now.
like $75, and I was like, I'm not paying $75 for a poster, and I very much wish I did now.
Dude,
so it was hanging on my wall.
There's a whole black market for GNR lithographs. Because every single city gets its own, and there are people paying thousands of dollars for the GNR ones.
I very much regret not paying the $75.
Yeah, those prints, that's a cool idea.
Yeah.
If they're cool and original. I feel like GNR ran out of steam. Like when they first started doing them in 2016, every city you were like, damn it, that's a cool design. And then now it's just like, they're like, well, we've already been here, so here's another one that's not. And the only one that sucked the whole tour, the Detroit one, was ugly as hell, and it made me really mad. I was all excited to buy it, and no, it was not. It was not any good. Michelle, what do you got for some of your faves?
You just reminded me of one that has nudged into my top 5 now.
Oh,
so John Fogerty when we saw him in Vegas.
Show.
2017?
Yeah. Well, it was Kenny Aronoff in concert, but John Fogerty was there.
I think it was. Yeah,
that was a great show.
That was, and he was one of those people who I've wanted to see for a long time.
I would say that's the opposite of the Beach Boys show.
Yes, but he's also played here, and we just never buy tickets. And we're all like, "Oh, you want to go sit in Comerica parking lot because he's playing tonight?" And
there was absolutely at least one where we were like, "You want to go sit in the parking lot and then just wander over to the casino?"
But we paid. It was a tiny room. Was this the same place you saw Garth?
Same place I saw Garth.
Yeah, and tickets were expensive, and I remember winning enough at the casino to be like, "We're doing this! Like, I got it!" And I still have the ticket stub, and it was just amazing from front to back. It sounded exactly like I thought it was.
Every song you wanted to hear.
Yeah, every song I wanted to hear. As long as you can see the light.
I don't want to overstate this, but I think he's 117.
Yeah, and his son was there.
Okay, so the CCR records came out in like 69, 70, and 71. You would have thought it was 1969 vocally.
Yeah,
like it was.
That's awesome.
It was perfect.
Yeah, and I don't know if you enjoyed it. I enjoyed that his son was there and was like taking on some of the responsibilities, and like he was like passing the baton. That was great to see.
He had 2 of his kids on stage, and both of them were like way into it.
Yeah,
like, and I always reference the Elvis at Madison Square Garden show for being such an influence on me. And the first song Elvis plays, well, he opens with "That's All Right, Mama," but after that he does "Proud Mary." And Fogerty told a big story about that, and he had a picture of Elvis from Madison Square Garden up behind him. And he was like, y'all ever have Elvis cover one of your songs? And it was so dope because I've been so into that record for so long, and I love that he acknowledged it. I've seen other artists that are on that record, and they never make mention of it. And the fact that John Fogerty, who's a legend in his own right. Is like, you guys.
Look at this.
Yeah, Elvis covered.
Yeah, so that show's great.
You'll probably be surprised that this one is so low on my list, but number 4 for me is the Pontiac Silverdome, July 15th, 1994, Pink Floyd. That show, first of all, it was the second of 2 times that I got to see Pink Floyd live in concert. The first time I saw them was way back on July 14th, 1994. It was the night before. Because they came to Detroit for 2 nights of the Division Bell tour, and I had never got to see Pink Floyd before. My whole life revolved around them, so I bought tickets to both shows. Every single person I know was like, why are you going to both shows? Pink Floyd does exactly the same show every night. And I was like, but it's still Pink Floyd, though. You know?
Right,
like,
yeah.
And at the time, I said, well, who knows if I'll ever get to see him again. And then they never toured again.
Yeah.
On top of all of that, the first night was exactly the same show that they had done on the whole tour up to that point. The second night, they opened the first set with the song they played as the first song in the second set the first night. And I was like, oh, well, that's at least they switched that up. You know, the whole rest of the first set was exactly the same. They took their break, and then they came back and played The Dark Side of the Moon front to back for the first time since 1975.
Damn.
The whole music world was like, did you hear what happened in Detroit last night?
Awesome,
And you were like, I was there.
Yeah, and then that became the blueprint for the whole rest of the tour. Like, that's how they were doing the whole rest of the tour, was the whole Dark Side of the Moon was like the focal point of it, but that was the first time they tried it. And then it became the live album and everything. So that show for me, and I was in 4th row.
Damn, yeah.
Scared the hell out of David Gilmour at the top of Learning to Fly, because they opened with Shine On You Crazy Diamond. And so I was like, well, maybe the show's going to be totally different. But then they went into Learning to Fly second, like they always do. And as soon as it hit, I jumped in the air so high that David Gilmour literally was like, I was like, I scared David Gilmour. So I was really excited about that. So that's number 4 for me. What's another favorite of yours, Kyle?
My favorites are different for different reasons.
Sure.
I don't have them like ranked in like order.
Yeah.
But one of my favorite shows, and it involves the two of you, is when we went to go see Parker Millsap.
Oh man,
That was a good show.
That was today. That's in my Facebook memories from today.
Yeah,
It was,
so that,
last year on this day.
Yeah, that. Damn,
He ripped the roof off that joint.
And it's talking about it, I almost think that show was better than the album was.
I could see that.
It's just. It was so good.
There was a couple of songs for sure that he did that I was like, this is better than the album.
Yeah.
And, that's one thing we've talked about before, where I think the level of interest the artist has is sometimes gauged on the crowd size. Mm-hmm. And that place was less than half full. That's probably the smallest crowd I've ever seen at the Magic Bag. And he played that like he was playing to a 100,000 seater.
Absolutely.
Yep, and I didn't even know who the hell this guy was until I met the two of you. And so, like, to go there and just... obviously, I'd been listening to him beforehand, but like, man, what a
he
great show!
Ripped it up that night, And I know we labor this point a lot on this show, but damn it, if you haven't listened to Parker Millsap, I strongly encourage you to listen to his latest record called Fine Line. Nothing against the 2 records before it, but I feel like that's the one that would get people into him. Is that right?
I don't even think I own that on vinyl. I think I just have.
You should. It sounds fantastic.
His first album.
What's another favorite of yours, Michelle?
When I saw Steven Tyler.
The
soundboard.
That show was great.
I didn't even want to go.
You didn't even want to go. Yeah, and I feel like that's one of those shows where I feel like you were converted inside of like the first 2 songs.
Yeah, yep. And I would have never. The tickets were free, but I would never even considered going to a show whether it was free or not. Like I was just like, and he was even at a casino, and I was like, no man, like I'll go, and then like I'll just go to the casino while you guys go to the concert, and then I stayed and like, within 1 or 2 songs, I was like, is there more? Like, I mean, he's playing more, right?
Yeah, he's one half of the Toxic Twins. He's the Demon of Screaming. I mean, the man is stunning live. And I've seen Aerosmith. I saw them twice in 91, and then I saw them several times over the years after that. And that show was every bit as good or better than an Aerosmith show. Yeah, that version of Piece of My Heart that he did, holy crap.
I would definitely pay to see him again.
Oh, for sure. He did a lot of the Aerosmith stuff you would expect him to do. He did a lot of songs off of his surprisingly good solo record. And then he did a couple of covers, but the one that I remember is he tore the hell out of Piece of My Heart.
It was one of those shows where like there was not a smoke song for me.
Yeah, which is
there
crazy.
Was just like I can't.
Well, I mean, Aerosmith has a billion hits.
Yeah.
So like any song that he was going to do, you're just like, oh, I love this song.
Yeah.
I mean, he just waltzed out and opened with Sweet Emotion. Like, that's okay, you know.
Yeah, if he came around again, I would hands down go see him.
Yeah.
No questions asked. Yeah.
You got to see, at least, if you can't see, I don't know if Aerosmith will ever do a full tour again. I don't know if anybody's ever going to tour again.
Let's be honest.
But if Steven Tyler, man, if he tours at least on his own, you got to see him.
Yeah,
he's quite a presence. For me, we're getting down to the nitty gritty now. These are all splitting hairs at this point. Number 3 for me was the fourth and final time I got to stand in front of Prince. April 9th, 2015. It was just a year before we lost him. I could go on for days about this show. I mean, it was just stunning. I'd already seen him 3 times before, and it was every bit as good or better, which is saying a lot. He was touring with Third Eye Girl, which is him and 3 young ladies as his backup. And I mean, these women destroy almost any other musician I've ever seen live. All 3 of them were just masterclass musicians. And Prince was Prince. He was very in control of the show. It's almost like a live DJ set. Like, he feels what's happening and would direct the band into other songs as the show was going.
Yeah, that's awesome.
There was a whole middle section of the show that was all based around like so many beats per minute. Like, the drummer basically just held the beat, and then he would direct and they would just go from song to song to song.
That's cool.
Awesome.
There was probably at least an hour of the show that there wasn't even a break, where the beat was just going and they were going in and out of other songs. It was insane. Prince played so hard and so long during that show that I physically had to sit down at one point because I was just tired from jumping around and like whatever. And the whole time I was sitting down, I was just like, you're the worst. You're sitting down at a Prince show. It's really, but it was incredible. And for me, I have a recording of the show, and that version of Nothing Compares to You at the end, where he says, Detroit, you have a beautiful city and beautiful people. Take care of it so I can come back. It's always hard to listen to because we lost him just a year later. And it's not because it was the last time that I saw him. I really weighed this out, and of all 4 shows, it really was the best show that I saw there in 2015.
You should do your 2, because I only have 2 left, and then we want to do all our 1s at the same time.
All right, well, you want me to drop my second one now then? Okay.
We'll do 2s, and then we'll do 1s.
Michael Joseph Jackson.
Yep.
October 26, 1988, Palace of Auburn Hills. Holy shit. I want to say 97% of the show. On account of the fact that I fainted during the first song.
Sounds about right.
And missed the second song, and then came to during the third song.
Jesus Christ.
And I will say that of the whole set list he was doing in 1988, the second song that he was doing is an old Jackson song called This Place Hotel, and it's not my favorite. So I was only passed out for the one song in the set I didn't want to hear.
It was your version of a Smoke song.
Right, yeah. And, I think I've alluded to this story on the show before, but we had upper bowl seats on the side of the stage, so we were probably closer than if we would have been on the floor, like, further back anyways, And he came out, hit the beat for Wanna Be Starting Something, moved slightly to the right and pointed in our general direction, and then I went down like a sack of bricks. Just out. It's not my fault. Let Michael Jackson point in your general direction, and we'll see what happens. I mean, this is the man that points on stage and things explode. So, but the show was everything I wanted it to be. He was still singing live at that time. Years from the Dangerous tour on, most of the shows were lip synced while he was working on the dancing and whatnot. He was still singing every song live at that time. The set list was monster. I can
only imagine.
He's touring for his Jackson 5 material, Thriller, and Bad.
That's awesome.
Years later, he would drop like Dirty Diana, Another Part of Me. Like, a lot of the great songs from Bad got dropped from the set list. So, and it's one of those things where I always wanted to see him again, and it just never worked out. He didn't come here for the Dangerous tour, the 97 tour. He did some shows overseas, and then it didn't make it to the U.S. And then, he was planning a massive comeback in 2009, and we lost him. And he was supposed to play Detroit in August of 2011, and I was really looking forward to it. He was going to be here for the plan for London was 10 dates, and then he ended up doing 50. He didn't do them, but he sold the tickets through for 50.
Crazy.
The plan for Detroit was 7 shows, so I'm sure it would have been 20 or 30 or something like that at Ford Field, by the way.
Yeah,
the dude was going to pack like 77,000 people in. But anyways, having said that, I am very excited that I got to see it.
Yeah, for sure.
That's
very, very, very excited that I did get to see it in person, and it was just stunningly good. I guess we are going to our favorite shows of all time now.
Well,
Number 2.
No, not yet.
Well, no, go ahead and knock yours out.
I have one honorable mention that I'm not going to really talk about a lot, but I saw Nine Inch Nails at the Palace.
Great show.
Fantastic visually. Like, for one, Trent Reznor. I don't think he stopped the entire time. He went like an hour and a half just back to back to back banging out songs.
I've seen them 5 or 6 times, and I've only ever seen one show that wasn't good.
Yeah.
And I don't even know what it was them and Jane's Addiction on a joint tour. It was just okay.
I can't remember who, some random band that was like chosen by Trent to like open for them was like some up and coming band that they. So I didn't
Probably
even
like Stabbing Westward or someone.
I don't even know. I was upstairs, I think, buying a shirt or something when they were on. But like visually, and it was just we had pretty close seats, and like it was just fan-fucking-tastic.
That means that you have unknowingly seen one of my favorite guitar players of all time live, Robin Fink. Because at that time he would have been in Nine Inch Nails, and then would have. So if you remember the show at all, on the right side of the stage there was probably a guy acting a fool and just falling all over his guitar. That was Robin.
Yeah.
That's my boy. What do you got for your all-time favorite?
Wait, I haven't done my 2 yet.
I thought
I'm not up to 2 yet.
Yeah, he's not up to 2 yet.
My third.
You said all-time favorite.
No, my third is coming right now.
Oh boy.
And then we're gonna do top 2.
You said you didn't even make a list.
I didn't.
Oh boy.
Relax.
I've only got
It's
one
fine.
left, so.
I have 2 left.
Okay, well, Kyle, tell us about another one of your shows.
Okay, so third in line, now that I've put them in order, would be Slipknot, Marilyn Manson.
Sure.
I saw them at the same time. Only because I had been wanting to see Slipknot since they were on Ozfest when I was like 15.
Yeah.
And my mom wouldn't let me go because
Moms.
she heard about how the
'Cause
concert was
Ozfest.
going to go. Yeah.
Yep.
So going there, it was like all this like nostalgia coming back and being like, oh my God, like this is what I've been waiting for this entire time. And Manson was awesome too. I had never really bothered to try and see him in concert, but like it was badass.
Manson puts on a lot of effort.
Yeah, well, see, so on that tour, I saw he opened here. They opened in Detroit, I believe, and then for the rest of the tour is you heard about him getting hammered and falling off stage, and like just the performances were shit. So he gave like his one dying good try in Detroit, and it was a badass show.
That's awesome.
Okay, now you can go from your second.
We're ready
one.
for you now.
Oh, it's my turn now?
Yes.
My second one is the first time I saw Mumford. It was at DTE in June 2016.
I wasn't at that show.
You were not at that show.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember as soon as like I found out about Mumford, I was like, when did they come in here? And then it was like years, I felt like, but it probably wasn't. But like it was
it was years.
I feel like maybe,
I know, because when they did that show, I didn't see it, and I was like, well, I'll catch them next time, and then it was years.
It was years again.
It's like Parker Millsap. Would you come to Detroit more often, please?
Yeah.
And I think most of that show, the second show was amazing as well that we saw together last year.
That show was great, 2 years ago.
But this one was like, it was anticipation. Like I was like, I'm finally seeing Mumford. It was outside, which I love an outdoor concert. Like I feel like that is probably my preferred venue.
Yeah.
Like I like to sit outside and on the lawn and drink a beer and in the summertime. But they were just on fire the entire night from front to back. It was just, I remember being in awe. And like, especially at this certain venue at DTE, I like to leave early because I don't like to get stuck in traffic because it's kind of a trek home and then I always have to pee. And I remember being like, I can't believe it's over. Like I stayed to the very last second and I was like, are you sure there's not like a third or fourth, fifth encore coming? Like I really want to hear more. And then I was like,
I will say
okay.
I have had twice at that venue where the lights were up and the artist still came back.
Yeah.
So ever since those 2 times happened, I'm like, is it really over? Like,
Yeah,
like
and so I was just, I
one
feel like
was Megadeth, by the way. Like the crowd was so badass that literally they came back without lights on, and they did it wasn't even in the set list. They did a cover of Paranoid by Black Sabbath because they had covered that for a Sabbath tribute record, and Dave Mustaine was like, you guys kicked 10 kinds of ass, and this is the only song we can think to do that wasn't on our set list. And they, with the lights up and everything, they did Paranoid to close the show. But anyways.
So I was just going to say that, like, that was like one of the only concerts I can remember staying to the very bitter end at DTE being like, are you sure there's not more, though? Because I had, like, waited so long, and then the show was so good, so.
Are you down to just your favorite now? Because
Yes.
I feel thoroughly confused by how the last...
No.
I'm just going to put the last 2 of mine together because I can't decide of which one I like.
Okay.
Oh,
better.
man.
So-
All right. Well, I'll do my favorite, and then
Yeah.
we'll go around. This probably will not come as a surprise, but my all-time favorite concert, beyond the shadow of a doubt, like all the other ones that I've said have been like with a sliver, this is like head and shoulders above everything else. October 24th, 2010 at the Palace of Auburn Hills, Roger Waters doing The Wall. I mean, it's my favorite record of all time. It's the guy who wrote it. if anybody hasn't seen this, you can go to just YouTube and type in Roger Waters' The Wall Live and see. It was, if you would have asked me before that tour, like, what's the one thing you would want to see in your whole life? I would have said, like, either Roger Waters on his own or Pink Floyd doing, like, The Wall the way it was meant to be done.
Yeah.
And this was absolutely the way it was meant to be done. There's also a cool side story about it where when the tickets went on sale, I was losing my mind because they were showing up on, like, StubHub and all those places before they were even on sale. And just from the I wrote a letter standpoint, I literally found the email for Rogers management and just basically sent a letter being like, this really sucks, you know, like, the fans really want to get good seats for this, like, and they were like, you'll get taken care of, don't worry about it. And I thought it was cool that they replied to a random fan anyways. Yeah. Then when the tickets went on sale, what they did was a lottery draw. You could buy like a certain tier of ticket and you were guaranteed a seat within like the first 10 rows. And then they would tell you what your ticket is as the show got closer. And then a month before the show, I got my email, and I literally got front row center.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, and I'm convinced that somebody on his team took care of it.
Because you were a Karen.
Yeah. No, I wasn't a Karen about it. Like, I wasn't like, you should do something. I was just like, this really, you know what I mean? Like, I want to make you aware that this is happening. And I, you know, have no way to prove it, but I'm convinced. And, you know, the whole show was everything that I wanted it to be. And actually, this is how good the show was. He came back in 2012 at another venue to do the same tour again. I saw it again, and I met him that afternoon. And the other show was still better because it was the first time that I ever got to see the whole wall.
Yeah.
And it's also responsible for one of the dumbest comments I've ever seen on social media ever, which was the following day, like the Free Press or the Metro Times or somebody, you know, had a review of the show. And the first Facebook comment was, I went and the show was lame. He only did the wall front to back. It was Roger Waters on the Wall tour.
Some people just should not have access to the internet.
Like, what do you... And it was something. The comment was even more ignorant. It was something like, "He just played the songs in the same order on the record." The record's a story. Like what do you
supposed to be like that?
Yeah. What do you want him to do? Come out and open with like another Brick and Wall Part 3, and then surprise, here's 2 after it. You know what I mean? Like, yeah,
maybe that's what he wants.
Yeah, the hell. So
was it all spelled wrong too? Because that seems to be a common denominator.
Passion with the less common sh spelling. So that is for me. I don't think I'll ever beat that show ever. Kyle, what do you got for your two tizies?
It's a twofer, which would be The Weeknd and Garth Brooks. So
yeah. Garth at Ford Field.
Yeah, the Weeknd was at St. Andrews.
I was going to say a 400-seater and a 77,000-seater.
And for totally different reasons. So that was The Weeknd's first tour, and that was when he was like coming out of the shadows to be like a person instead of like this person that you know on the internet.
Right.
And no one really knew who he was. And God, St. Andrews was fucking packed. Completely full.
Yeah.
And I think that was before they redid it, so the AC was like barely working.
Yeah.
And it was in the middle of the summertime, and I think I stood outside in line. I showed up like 4 hours early and was like, and there was a line of people when I got there, and I stood outside the entire time waiting to get in. It was general admission, the entire thing, so I worked my way like maybe halfway up through that one, and like we were packed in like sardines.
Halfway up is you're still like 20 feet away from the stage at the most. Yeah. So.
And like and it was just such an intimate, like, it was just crazy. And when I left there, it looked like I had been in a swimming pool. That's how sweaty I was. Like everyone, my shoes
I've been to that
were
show.
wet.
Like I saw KMFDM, German Industrial at Clutch Cargo in Pontiac once, and I'm pretty sure I lost like 15 pounds.
Yeah, there was points where the security was throwing water bottles into the crowd, and we were like rationing them for each other, like pouring them into each other's mouths and stuff so we wouldn't die. But,
so total opposite of venue size. I was standing right next to you, but tell me your perspective.
God damn that! I had never seen a show like that. Like and you talk about like environment and like it was like you walk in, you got zapped because there was like so much electricity, like just in the air, like everywhere. And goddamn, does he put on a great show?
Oh, what a show!
How you can personally interact with 70,000 people, like on such a personal level, is incredible.
The show itself was stunning as it was.
I have goosebumps now talking about it, literally right now.
Well, what about where he was pointing out people's specific signs and reading them?
Yep.
Not just like, oh, I see you. But like being like, hold on, put the light there, and then being like, this is our 5th anniversary.
He took a little kid's cowboy hat off of the little kid's head, replaced it with his cowboy hat, and attempted to wear the cowboy hat, and obviously didn't fit his head. But he let the little kid wear his hat for a minute. And then he brought a little kid on stage with him, like some little kid that was in the front row. Like that is
so rad.
Yeah, that's amazing.
He did one of my all-time favorite Garth songs that night, When You Come Back to Me Again. And he was like, I don't think I can sing this right, but I'm going to try, because somebody had a sign that said, please play When You Come Back to Me Again. And he was like, I don't think I can sing this right because it's a lot higher. And then he sang it in the wrong key. He started it like an entire step high. And as soon as he started singing it, I was like, well, that's why you can't sing it right. That's not the right key. Like you're trying to sing it too high. But he still did good on it.
Yeah, he does the whole thing where he introduces his whole band.
Plus, where will people be able to hear some of that show we were at? On the next Garth Brooks live album.
Oh, yeah. So I don't remember what track it was, but they did record at least one track from the show.
All American Kid.
Yeah, there you go. For the live album that's coming out.
Yep.
And I was at the casino.
Yep, you sure were.
Man, it was just fantastic.
What is your all-time favorite concert, Michelle? If you say Snow Patrol, I'm shutting the show down.
Am I fired?
Yes. Next week, hey everybody, please welcome myself, Kyle, and anyone else.
This probably is not surprising to any of you, but it's the first time we saw the Lone Bellow.
Oh, what a fantastic show.
It was one of those things where I was super excited to see them, and it was like 1,000% better than what I anticipated, because I didn't even look anything up online ahead of time, and they were relatively new, and I like the album a lot, but they are one of those bands that you cannot contain their their live shows. Like, it's not, you need to see them live to really appreciate their art. And
as long as I live, I'll never forget them opening with Treat a Girl.
Yeah, and I was literally slack-jawed the entire time. Like, the entire time.
The first moment where I was like, whoa. Well, first of all, they come out and they
own it.
Well, they just creep into Tree to Grow. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's such a subdued song. And then when it gets harder and harder, I was like, this is the greatest thing that's ever happened.
Yep.
And for anybody listening, and I've told you this before, what I equate it to is, for me, it would have been like seeing Simon and Garfunkel in a small venue, like when they were just starting out. The harmonies, like, it must have been that feeling, because the harmonies were amazing. The songs were incredible. It was,
that's another group that I had never heard of until I met the two of you.
And you haven't had a chance to see them live yet, right? Yeah, because they were going to tour this summer, and then so on and so forth.
So then 18 times later,
I've seen them, and we've been fortunate enough to become friends with them.
4 different states. So, so
they're sweetheart people.
They're amazing.
Just to be clear, we always kind of mention that we've become friends with them. We would be speaking this highly if we hadn't become friends with them. Like, they are absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
They just happen to also be great people who are very nice to us.
Absolutely, and they just that. I can remember being on high after that. We went to the bar afterwards, and I was just like bouncing off the walls, and and it was just like, it wasn't from the beer; it was from just the electricity in the room, and it was a seated show, which is weird for me. Like, so that's like not something I normally am into. And I just remember being like, "This is small, and I don't get it. It's dark in here. Like, what's going on?" There's weird tables.
Because we've never been there before
at all, and we've seen them twice there, or 3 times.
Twice.
Okay, so and it was just. Oh, it was everything I wanted it to be and more. So
right on. We are running way long, but I have been told by listeners to not let that affect anything.
Yes, that's true.
I have 2 more questions. We don't have to spend a ton of time on this, but I think they're interesting, at least. So we've gone through, hey, this is everything I got to see and everything. If you could go back in time, who would you? I have 3 that I didn't get to see for whatever reason live. If you could go back in time, who's 1 or 2 people that you would want to go see live in concert?
Aerosmith in their heyday.
Sure, which is arguably still happening.
Yeah, well, I guess I haven't seen them at all, so I don't know.
But so you're talking like just 75 to like 91.
Yeah, just back in the day when they were just on top of things. Who else?
Queen is one of mine.
Queen's one of my 3.
Damn. I second that.
Queen is one of those ones that 2 of my 3 were because of circumstances I couldn't see them. Like, Queen's final tour, I think, was 86, and I didn't go to my first show till 87. So it just wasn't in the cards for me.
I'll not steal yours. I will say Michael Jackson / Prince.
Yeah.
I wish I could.
Prince is another one that I would go see. For sure.
Michael's not on mine because I did get to see him, but I would love to have seen some of the later tours.
Yeah.
But I mean, then again, I can't. I did get to see him. So for me, Queen. was on mine. I would give anything to go and see Elvis from 70 to 72. I mean, just on fire. I mean, I've shown you clips. It's stunningly good.
He's a badass.
Who's one that you'd want to go back in time and see besides Queen?
Pass. I'm just kidding. I was thinking Queen and Prince, and he just said Prince, so I don't. Those were the two that when you first said it, that was my two. So
one that is just one that was never in the cards for me. Like when they were in town, I wasn't, or I had tickets to something else, and to say I deeply regret never seeing this band live is an understatement. INXS. I never got to see INXS, and they were still touring the U.S. up to like 96-ish or something, but like they were here on at least on the X tour and Welcome to Wherever You Are tour and Full Moon, Dirty Hearts, and I just every time I either had tickets to someone else already or I was out of town and it just we lost Michael Hutchence, and I don't know disrespect, but there's zero point in seeing INXS for me without Michael. So those are the three for me: Queen for sure, Elvis for sure, and INXS. And there's some people might be listening and be like, "Well, what about Nirvana and the White Stripes?" I saw all those bands, so I saw Nirvana a couple times. I saw the Stripes a couple of times, and so who do you still want to see? I feel like this list is a million long for you, Kyle. So I just many shows. Who, like off the top of your head, when the world clears up and everything starts going again. Who's one that you go?
Kings of Leon.
Oh, for sure. Great show.
Yep. I very, very much so want to see them.
I feel like your answer is going to be pass again, but Michelle, who can you think of? Because you've seen a ton of acts with me and on your own. Who can you think that you're like, I haven't seen these guys yet? Or girl, or guy, or rap artiste?
Ooh, Ludacris.
Oh, Luda.
Luda is literally has been on my list where does he even tour anymore?
I don't know.
No one tours right now. I
now.
think that they play those like rap anniversary tours where it's like a bunch of artists from the same label going.
Luda, come to Detroit.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
that would be dope. For me, the Killers.
I've seen them.
I know. I have yet to see the Killers. So I would like to get around to doing that.
Yeah, hell yeah.
I would take a Brandon Flowers solo show. His second solo album, The Desired Effect, is so good. It's so good.
No, I saw them, but it was part of it was the 89X birthday bash, so it was like a whole bunch of, is when they had the Fox and the Fillmore, and then they had like an outdoor venue, and you could just it was acts going the entire time. Yeah, but it was truncated, so it was like 20-minute shows, kind of like Mopop was.
So it was like an indoor music festival?
It was only
kind of?
Ish. Yeah.
It was ish. It was 3 stages, and then they had like the main.
But they're all different locations, right?
They're all next door to each other.
Okay.
So like
they're all on the same block.
They had like the street blocked off with the stage outside, and then you could go to each end.
Each venue. Okay.
But then like there would be like someone outside and someone at the Fox at the same time, so you'd have to pick. And then there was someone in it was just you bounce around. So and I remember just being in there, and it was only like I said 20 or 30 minutes. It wasn't a full show because it was throughout the whole day, but they put on a great show.
Awesome. Yeah, nice. I would love to see them. Do you guys remember that? Being at concerts with other people?
This made me sad.
Damn it.
So, is it just because it's Sunday and you're up?
It's Sunday, and it's morning time, and I'm sober, and there's no concerts.
So, we're going to leave you on that happy note. And as I said at the top of the show, we are going to take a break, but we're leaving you with a good, healthy, long one. I think that was a great...
and we'll still be active on social media, right?
We will still be active on social media. I will still be active on social media on behalf of the show. And you'll have, first of all, a brand new, fresh Spotify playlist this week, which is going to be based on all the songs and a lot of the artists that we've talked about on the show this week. And then for the next 2 weeks, we'll just throw out some random favorites and whatnot. And then we are going to return with brand new episodes every week on August 31st. We have some guests lined up between now and then. Another podcast I meant to shout out earlier in the show was the Fat, Drunk, and Stupid podcast. They very much like what we're doing, arranging so at least I can go on his show. He's going to come on our show and talk with us, and we'll bring him in remotely. So that'll be a whole lot of fun. It's going to be good times. We greatly appreciate you guys listening and sticking with us. Without music, life would be a mistake. Bye.
Bye. The Infectious Groove podcast is hosted by Russ Robinson, Kyle Wimple, and Michelle Kosalecki. Produced and edited by Russ Robinson. Intro and outro music composed by Chris Kimmel. Opening credits read by Stacey Robinson. Recorded with a Rode Podcaster Pro and Rode Pod mics.